Beloved, this is a new day. The infinite presence, the living spirit within you, has gone before you to make the crooked places straight and the rough ways smooth. You are never alone. The Lord is your refuge and your fortress. As you awaken each morning, know that the eternal promises of God are written in the tablets of your heart. Psalm 91 is not just words on a page. It is the living law of divine protection, a spiritual armor that surrounds you in radiant light. Today we turn inward to claim God's invincible shield, to clothe ourselves in His eternal promise, and to walk in confidence, peace, and divine security. Beloved, let us begin with the profound truth that God's promise is not something distant, postponed, or reserved for another time. It is not locked in the past, nor waiting for the future. It is alive, breathing, and present in this very moment. When you awaken each morning, you step into a new day filled with infinite possibilities. And in this fresh dawn, the eternal Word of God is whispering to your heart, this promise is for you. It is not for another. It is not for yesterday. And it is not for tomorrow. It is yours now in the eternal present, where God lives. The psalmist speaks not of an abstract idea, but of a living law of divine protection and provision, available here and now, closer than your own heartbeat, nearer than your own breath. Many men and women have erred in believing that God's blessings are far removed, that one must struggle, plead, and wait for some far-off moment when heaven might open. But in truth, heaven is within you, and God's promise is immediate. In the sacred words of Psalm 91, there is no delay, no hesitation. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Not tomorrow, not next year, but now. When you declare this verse with conviction, you are clothing yourself in the present assurance of His invincible love. God's promise is like the sun that rises unfailingly each morning. Even if clouds cover it, the light is still there, radiant and eternal, shining upon you, shining within you, offering warmth, clarity, and security. You must therefore train your mind to recognize that divine power is not something to be attained. It is something to be accepted. It is not far from you. It is the very essence of your being. God's promise is immediate because God is the eternal now. The mind that waits, delays, or fears places obstacles before the flow of divine blessing. But the mind that accepts and affirms, this promise is mine today, right where I am, opens wide the floodgates of heaven and allows the rivers of life, peace, and protection to flow without hindrance. Consider the seed planted in the soil. The life within the seed does not wait for some future time to begin its work. Even as it is covered in darkness, life is already moving, pressing, and unfolding. So too does the Word of God work in you now, invisibly, silently, unfailingly. When you read Psalm 91 and affirm God's promise, you are aligning yourself with divine law. You are saying to the subconscious mind, I dwell now in the secret place of the Most High. I abide now under the shadow of the Almighty. And your subconscious, ever obedient, takes these words as truth and begins to mold your experiences in harmony with the eternal promise. You begin to walk with a new confidence, a quiet assurance that no matter what appearances may say, the truth of God surrounds you, enfolds you, and lifts you up. You feel within your heart that you are guided, guarded, and governed by infinite intelligence, and this realization becomes a living experience in your daily walk. Do not underestimate the power of claiming God's promise as personal and present. Many repeat Scripture as mere words, but the wise man or woman speaks them as living decrees, as spiritual law, as eternal truth, clothed in human speech. When you say, God is my refuge and my fortress, you are not uttering poetry. You are stating fact. The very vibration of those words moves through your subconscious, radiating peace to your mind and strength to your body. Every cell in your being responds to the authority of divine promise. Fear begins to fade, anxiety dissolves, and in their place rises a calm and steadfast confidence. This is the healing power of claiming God's word as yours now. Remember always, beloved, that God is not a God of delay. Divine love is ever present, and divine protection is immediate. Just as air surrounds you and fills your lungs without delay, so too does God's promise surround you and fill your life. You would not wait to breathe tomorrow, you breathe now. So too must you breathe in the truth of God's presence in this moment. Do not say, one day I shall be protected. One day I shall find peace. Declare with conviction, I am safe now. I am at peace now. I am clothed in his armor now. This shift in consciousness brings heaven into your present experience and unlocks the treasures of God's promise in your life. Perhaps you have faced challenges, adversity, or fear. Perhaps the shadows of worry have tried to darken your path. But even in the darkest night, the stars still shine, and even in the valley of despair, God's light is unfailing. Psalm 91 is not a promise of a trouble-free life, but of a protected life, a victorious life, a life where even in the midst of difficulty, you walk unshaken, because you know you are encircled by the shadow of the Almighty. His promise is your shield. His presence is your strength. His word is your invincible armor. And this is not theoretical. It is practical, immediate, and available to you the moment you claim it. Affirm now within yourself, God's promise is mine today. I dwell in his secret place now. I abide in his presence now. Repeat it with feeling, with faith, with inner conviction. And notice how your mind becomes quiet, your heart becomes still, and your body feels strengthened. The truth is that the eternal promise of God is always waiting at the doorway of your consciousness. It is your recognition, your acceptance, that swings wide the gates and lets the King of Glory enter into your affairs. As you hold fast to this truth, you will find that the outer world begins to rearrange itself in accordance with the inner decree. Protection manifests, opportunities appear, peace descends, and harmony unfolds. Beloved, each morning as you awaken, take a moment to remember this. God's promise is for you today. Say to yourself, this is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. I live this day in the fortress of his love. I walk this day under the shadow of his wings. I am safe, I am secure, I am guided, I am free. Carry these affirmations in your heart as a lamp that lights your path. For as surely as the sun rises, so surely is God's promise alive in you today. Rest in this truth, trust in this power, and you will find that every step you take is covered by the invincible armor of his eternal word. Beloved, when the psalmist declares, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty, he is speaking of a spiritual reality available to you here and now. The secret place of the Most High is not a physical location you must travel to, nor is it hidden in some faraway land or lofty temple. It is within you. It is the still sanctuary of your own soul, the inner chamber where you commune with God in silence and in peace. To dwell in the secret place means to make your home in the awareness of God's presence, to remain rooted and grounded in the consciousness of his infinite love, wisdom, and power. It is not a fleeting visit, but an abiding state of mind and heart. You must understand that your mind is always dwelling somewhere. If it is not dwelling in faith, it is dwelling in fear. If it is not resting in peace, it is wandering in anxiety. The choice is always yours. The secret place is the consciousness of divine presence, and you enter it not by physical movement, but by inner recognition. When you say within yourself, God is here, God is with me, God is my life, my light, my all, you are stepping into the sanctuary of the Most High. This awareness casts out fear, dissolves worry, and clothes you in the shadow of the Almighty. His shadow is not darkness, but radiant protection, a covering of love and peace that overshadows every circumstance of your life. Many imagine the secret place as something mystical, reserved for saints or prophets. But in truth, it is the most practical thing in the world. It is the act of turning inward, quieting the restless mind, and affirming that the infinite spirit is closer to you than your own thought. Just as you retreat into a quiet room to rest from the noise of the world, so do you retreat inwardly into this chamber of peace, where the presence of God refreshes your soul. In this inner silence, you find strength, renewal, and guidance. In this stillness, you hear the gentle whisper of divine wisdom, directing your steps. Think of the bird that builds its nest high in the branches, hidden from danger. The nest is its secret place, its refuge, its shelter. So too are you invited to build your nest in the consciousness of God's presence. When you dwell there, no storm can shake you, no predator can reach you, for you are safe under the watchful care of the Almighty. The winds may blow and the rains may fall, but your heart is anchored in the calm of divine protection. Consider also the meaning of dwelling. To dwell means to live, to abide, to remain. Many touch the secret place briefly in prayer and then rush back into worry and fear. But the promise of Psalm 91 is not for the visitor. It is for the dweller. You are called not to step in and out, but to remain, to abide continually in the presence of God. Make it a habit of your thought life. Begin your morning in this awareness. Throughout the day, return to it in your heart. Before you sleep, rest in it. In this way, you build your life upon the rock of God's presence, and no storm can overthrow you. When you abide in the secret place, you are shielded from the arrows of fear, doubt, and negativity. The world may speak of danger, but in your heart there is peace. Others may live in anxiety, but you carry within you an atmosphere of divine calm. This is not escapism, it is true mastery of life. You are not ignoring the world, you are transforming your experience of it by dwelling in the higher consciousness of God's love and wisdom. You look upon the outer world through the eyes of faith, and you see beyond appearances to the eternal reality that God is in control. To enter the secret place, practice the art of inner stillness. Set aside a few moments each day to turn inward. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and affirm, I dwell now in the secret place of the Most High. The presence of God fills me, surrounds me, and overshadows me. I am safe. I am guided. I am free. Feel the truth of these words in your heart. Let them sink deep into your subconscious mind. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes, until eventually you carry this awareness with you wherever you go. There is great power in the imagination when sanctified by faith. As you affirm God's presence, you may picture yourself standing in a radiant light, clothed in an invisible armor of divine love. You may see yourself resting in a quiet garden where peace flows like a river. These images impress upon your subconscious the reality of God's promise, and the subconscious, obedient and faithful, begins to manifest it in your outer life. What you impress inwardly, you will experience outwardly. Beloved, the secret place is not reserved for moments of prayer alone. It is available to you in every activity. While walking on the street, you may quietly affirm God's presence. While working, you may silently know that His wisdom guides your hands and mind. While facing a difficulty, you may retreat inwardly and feel the assurance of His protection. Thus you transform the ordinary activities of life into sacred communion, and you carry the secret place with you everywhere. Remember this. The secret place of the Most High is the consciousness of God's presence, and to abide there is the greatest security in life. Wars may rage, economies may falter, storms may come, but the one who dwells in the secret place is unshaken. For beneath the surface of appearances you know the truth. God is your refuge. God is your strength. God is your unfailing protector. The outer may change, but the inner reality remains eternal. Train your mind daily to turn inward and dwell in this truth. Affirm it, feel it, live it. Say to yourself often, I dwell in the secret place of the Most High. I abide under the shadow of the Almighty. His presence is my peace. His love is my protection. His wisdom is my guide. These words are not empty. They are alive with power. As you repeat them with faith, you are building your house upon the rock of divine consciousness, and that house shall never fall. Beloved, know this. The secret place is not far from you. It is not difficult to reach. It is already within you, waiting for your recognition. In this very moment, you can close your eyes, turn your thoughts to God, and feel His presence overshadowing you. Right now, you can dwell in the secret place. And as you remain there, you will know the truth of the psalmist's words. Surely He shall deliver thee. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. Live in this awareness, abide in this consciousness, and you will walk each day under the invincible armor of God's eternal promise. Beloved, when the psalmist proclaims, the Lord is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him will I trust, he is not speaking of walls of stone or fortresses built by human hands. He is pointing you to a deeper eternal truth, that God Himself is your dwelling place, your shield, your strong tower, and your unfailing defense. The Lord is not only your fortress from the troubles of the world, but also the inner sanctuary where your soul finds rest. He is the invisible protection that surrounds you, the unseen strength that upholds you, and the everlasting refuge into which no harm can enter. To make the Lord your refuge is to turn within, to anchor your mind in the consciousness of his presence, and to know beyond doubt that you are secure in his infinite love. Consider what a fortress meant in ancient times. It was the stronghold where people fled when enemies attacked, a place of safety, guarded by high walls and watchtowers. Within the fortress, they were untouchable beyond the reach of the enemy's arrows. So it is with you when you turn your mind to God. The moment you affirm, "The Lord is my refuge," you step into a fortress not built with stones, but with spirit, not limited by walls, but infinite as the heavens. No fear, no worry, no adversity can break through this divine fortress. It surrounds you with light, it covers you with love, and it lifts you above the storms of life. When you declare God is your refuge, you are affirming the great truth that you are not dependent upon external conditions for safety and peace. You are not at the mercy of circumstances, nor are you vulnerable to the world's chaos. Your true security is not in wealth, possessions, or human strength, but in the eternal, changeless presence of the Almighty. All outer fortresses may crumble, but the fortress of God is everlasting. When you abide in him, you are safe. When you trust in him, you are free from fear. When you lean upon him, you are unshakable. The Lord is your refuge means that you are never alone. In every difficulty, in every trial, in every storm of life, you have an inner stronghold into which you may retreat. You need not struggle or strive. You need only turn within and remember, God is my fortress. I am safe. I am secure. I am shielded by his love. The moment you affirm this truth, you feel a sense of peace descend upon you. Your racing thoughts grow calm, your heart steadies, and your body relaxes. The burden lifts, for you know that you are not carrying life's challenges alone. The infinite is with you, surrounding you, protecting you, guiding you. Beloved, reflect on what it means to trust. To trust in God is to let go of anxious striving, to surrender the illusion of control, and to rest in the assurance that the infinite wisdom knows the way and is guiding you. When you lean on your own limited understanding, you feel fear and insecurity, for human strength is frail. But when you lean on the everlasting arms, you feel a power greater than any circumstance flowing through you. Trust is not passive. It is an active alignment of your thoughts with the truth of God's presence. To trust is to say with conviction, I refuse to be afraid. I refuse to give power to appearances. I know that God is my fortress, and in him I am safe. Perhaps you have experienced moments when fear sought to overwhelm you, when difficulties loomed like towering giants. In such moments, remember that your fortress is not outside, but within. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and affirm silently, the Lord is my refuge and my fortress. No harm can come near me, for I dwell in his presence. I rest in his strength. I walk in his light. As you do this, you will feel the atmosphere of fear dissolve, and in its place will arise a calm confidence, a quiet strength, and a radiant peace. This is the power of dwelling in God as your fortress. The fortress of God is not only protection, it is also empowerment. It does not merely shield you from harm, but fills you with courage to face life boldly. You do not hide from challenges. You meet them with the strength of God flowing through you. You are not weakened by adversity. You are strengthened, for you know that the infinite power is working in and through you. Just as a fortress is a base from which warriors go forth with courage, so too does your inner fortress empower you to go forth with faith, knowing that victory is assured. Remember also that this refuge is not something you must create. It already exists. It is the eternal reality of God's presence, waiting for your recognition. When you worry, when you feel unsafe, it is not that the fortress has vanished. It is simply that you have forgotten to enter it. You have turned your attention outward to appearances instead of inward to truth. But the moment you turn back, the moment you remember and affirm, you find yourself once more within the stronghold of divine love. You may picture this truth in your imagination. See yourself standing within a great fortress made of radiant light. Its walls are shining, impenetrable, and infinite. Above you stretches the canopy of God's love. Beneath you, the solid foundation of his truth. All around you, angels stand guard, protecting you in every way. As you roll in this vision, you feel the peace of God filling your heart. You know beyond all doubt that nothing can touch you, nothing can harm you, for you are within the fortress of the Almighty. Beloved, each morning remind yourself, this day I dwell in the fortress of God. I walk in His presence. I am safe, secure, and unshakable. Carry these words with you. When fear arises, repeat them silently. When challenges appear, declare them with faith. Let them sink deep into your subconscious mind, where they will take root and bear fruit. The subconscious, filled with this conviction, will project it into your experience, and you will see evidence of protection, guidance, and peace unfolding in your life. The Lord is your refuge, your fortress, your strength, your shield. Rest in this truth. Live in this consciousness. Walk each day in the awareness that you are not unprotected, not vulnerable, not weak. You are covered by the invincible armor of God's presence. No arrow of fear can pierce it, no storm of adversity can shake it, no shadow of doubt can darken it. In Him you are safe, in Him you are strong, in Him you are forever secure. Therefore, beloved, let your heart rejoice and your soul be at peace. For you do not walk alone, you walk within the fortress of the Eternal. You are encircled by His love, overshadowed by His wings, and upheld by His mighty hand. Say often with faith and gratitude, the Lord is my refuge and my fortress. In Him will I trust. And as you do, you will discover that His promise is not theory, but living reality, guiding your steps, guarding your life, and clothing you in the invincible armor of His eternal presence. Beloved, the psalmist assures us, Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day. What does this mean for you in the quiet of your soul? It means that God's promise to you is freedom from fear, freedom from anxiety, freedom from the paralyzing sense that you are vulnerable or defenseless. Fear is the great thief of life. It robs men and women of peace, poisons the body, clouds the mind, and blocks the free flow of divine ideas. But when you anchor yourself in the awareness of God's presence, fear dissolves like mist before the rising sun. Faith is the light that drives out the darkness of fear. And when you know not merely hope, but know that God is your fortress, your refuge, and your shield, then fear can find no dwelling place in you. Understand, beloved, that fear is a movement of the mind away from God. It is the imagination misused, picturing calamity instead of safety, weakness instead of strength, lack instead of abundance. Yet the same imagination that breeds fear can be turned to faith. The psalmist does not say that dangers will never arise in the world. He says that you need not be afraid. Why? Because fear gives power to the shadow, while faith turns your mind to the light. The shadows have no substance of their own. They exist only because of a greater light behind them. When you focus on the light of God's presence, the shadows lose their hold. Think of a child in the dark who trembles at imagined shapes in the corner of the room. When the lamp is lit, the child sees clearly. There was never anything to fear. So it is with you. Many of the terrors of your mind are shadows, phantoms, illusions born of fear. When you fill your consciousness with the light of truth, these shadows vanish and you walk free. Fear cannot stand before the light of God's presence, any more than darkness can stand before the rising sun. You must train your mind to refuse fear, just as you train your body to stand upright. When the thought of fear arises, meet it with the affirmation of faith. God is with me, I shall not fear. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Say it aloud if you can. Whisper it if you must. Declare it in the silence of your heart, if you are in the midst of others. The repetition of this truth impresses the subconscious, and the subconscious then acts to bring calm, courage, and strength into your life. Beloved, it is not the events of life that trouble you, but the thoughts you hold about them. Two people may face the same situation. One quails in fear, the other stands firm in peace. Why? Because one has anchored the mind in appearances, while the other has anchored the mind in God. The one who abides in the secret place of the Most High knows that no matter what storms may come, no matter what arrows may fly, he or she is safe under the shadow of the Almighty. That knowledge dispels fear as surely as dawn dispels the night. Do not give power to appearances. Fear magnifies the problem and shrinks your sense of God's presence. Faith magnifies God's power and shrinks the problem to its true proportion. When you allow your mind to dwell on fearful images, you are watering weeds. But when you turn your mind to God's promise, you are watering seeds of peace, strength, and confidence. Which garden will you tend? That choice is always yours. Practice daily the discipline of inner stillness. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and affirm, I live under the shadow of the Almighty. I shall not fear the night nor the day, for God is my light and my shield. His presence fills me with peace. His love casts out all fear. Repeat this slowly, feeling the meaning of each word sink into your heart. As you do this regularly, fear will lose its grip on you. It may arise from habit, but you will learn to meet it instantly with the light of truth, and it will vanish. Beloved, remember that fear has no true substance. It is like a cloud drifting across the sky. It may seem dark and heavy, but it cannot withstand the sun's warmth. Your fear cannot withstand the radiant presence of God within you. Do not wrestle with fear. Do not fight it with force, for what you resist tends to persist. Instead, turn your attention to God, and the fear will fade by itself. The psalmist did not tell you to conquer fear with struggle, but to dwell in the secret place, to abide under the Almighty's shadow, and in that abiding fear disappears. Think of the words of Jesus. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. The Father's kingdom is not a realm of terror or anxiety. It is a realm of peace, joy, strength, and radiant confidence. You are heir to this kingdom now. Do not deny yourself its blessings by clinging to fear. Lift your mind to the truth that God's good is flowing toward you and through you now, and fear will fall away like old garments that no longer fit. Fear weakens, but faith strengthens. Fear paralyzes, but faith liberates. Fear looks to the problem, but faith looks to the answer. The psalmist invites you to choose faith over fear, light over darkness, peace over anxiety. Every time you choose faith, you are clothing yourself in the invincible armor of God. Every time you choose faith, you are reaffirming, the Lord is my refuge and my fortress. Every time you choose faith, you step deeper into the eternal promise of Psalm 9. Beloved, let this be your declaration. I shall not fear. God is with me. His light guides me. His love enfolds me. His strength upholds me. Though the world may speak of terror by night and arrows by day, I am unafraid, for I dwell under the shadow of the Almighty. Carry this declaration with you. Repeat it when you rise in the morning, when you face challenges in the day, when you prepare to sleep at night. Let it be the song of your soul. And know this, every time you affirm your freedom from fear, you are reconditioning your subconscious mind. Old patterns of anxiety are erased, and new patterns of faith are established. In time, fear will no longer be your reflex. Peace will. In time, anxiety will no longer grip you. Confidence will. In time, you will discover that the words of the psalmist are not merely promises on a page, but living realities in your heart. Thou shalt not be afraid. So walk forth today in the assurance that you are free. Free from fear, free from anxiety, free from the chains of worry that bind so many. You are not a slave to shadows, for you walk in the light. You are not vulnerable to arrows, for you are clothed in the armor of God. You are not weak, for the strength of the Almighty flows through you. Rejoice in this truth, live in this awareness, and you will find that peace becomes your constant companion, courage your steady friend, and freedom your eternal birthright. Beloved, the psalmist declares, surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler, and from the noisome pestilence. In these words you are given a profound truth, that God, the infinite protector, surrounds you with an unseen shield that guards you from dangers both visible and invisible. There are forces in life that you may not see, hidden traps that the human eye cannot detect, subtle influences that would seek to disturb your peace or weaken your spirit. Yet even against these unseen dangers, you are safe when you dwell in the presence of the Most High. God's law of harmony is your shield, His love your covering, His wisdom your guide. When you walk in this awareness, you move through the world with confidence, knowing that nothing hidden, nothing secret, nothing unexpected can prevail against you. The snare of the fowler is a symbol of the hidden traps in life, the sudden misfortune, the subtle temptation the entangling habit, the unseen plan of the adversary. Pestilence represents those days that creep unseen, like disease that works in silence, or fear that grows unnoticed in the mind. The psalmist tells you that God delivers you from them all. His protection is not limited to what you can see and understand. It extends beyond the reach of your senses and your reasoning. It is a spiritual shield that covers every aspect of your being, guarding you from that which you are aware of and that which you are not. Consider the air around you. You cannot see it, yet it sustains you with every breath. Consider electricity. You cannot see its flow, yet it powers the world around you. In the same way, God's protection is invisible, but it is real and powerful. Even when you do not perceive it, it is active, working ceaselessly to guide you, protect you, and deliver you. There have been times in your life when you were preserved from danger without even knowing it, when paths were made straight before you without your awareness, when harm passed by you unseen. This is the hidden mercy of God at work, fulfilling the promise of Psalm 9. You may sometimes feel anxious about the unknown, worrying about what you cannot see or predict. But remember, beloved, that you are never alone in this universe. You are watched over, guided, and guarded by infinite intelligence. Divine love goes before you, preparing the way. Divine wisdom accompanies you, directing your steps. Divine power follows behind, protecting you from what might seek to harm you. You are encircled in a sphere of light, an invincible aura of divine protection. When you affirm and believe this, fear of the unseen dissolves, for you know that even in the places you cannot see, God is working for your good. The snare of the fowler may also represent negative suggestions from the world around you. Words of fear, images of disaster, thoughts of weakness that try to take root in your subconscious mind. But when you abide in God's presence, these suggestions lose their power. You are delivered from their snare. Your subconscious, filled with the truth of God's protection, rejects fear as the body rejects poison. You become immune to the contagion of negative thought. Pestilence, whether physical or mental, cannot touch you, for you are clothed in the radiant light of divine truth. It is wise, beloved, to guard your mind as carefully as you guard your body. Just as you avoid food that is spoiled, so should you avoid thoughts that are poisonous. The media may present images of fear. Conversations may spread words of anxiety. The world may magnify danger and calamity. Do not take these into the sanctuary of your mind. Instead, dwell in the eternal promise. Surely he shall deliver thee. Every time you affirm this truth, you are immunizing your mind against fear, just as the body is strengthened by wholesome nourishment. Think of the sunlight that destroys hidden germs. It shines upon what cannot be seen and purifies it. In the same way, the light of God's presence shines upon your life, removing dangers both known and unknown. You need not worry about every possible threat. You need only dwell in the light, and the light itself does the work of cleansing, healing, and protecting. Your responsibility is not to scan every shadow, but to keep your eyes fixed on the light of truth. Where the light is, darkness cannot abide. Beloved, practice this awareness in your daily life. As you go about your activities, silently affirm, I am safe, for God is with me. His love surrounds me. His wisdom guides me. His power protects me. I am delivered from every snare and pestilence, seen and unseen. Let this become your inner atmosphere, your constant reminder that you are not vulnerable, not helpless, not subject to chance. You are under divine law, governed by divine order, guarded by divine love. This truth, repeated often, will impress your subconscious mind, and you will notice that you walk with new confidence, free from the gnawing anxiety of the unknown. There is a profound peace in knowing that God's protection extends beyond what you can comprehend. You need not strain to understand it fully, just as you do not need to understand how your heart beats or how the sun rises each day. You need only trust and affirm that His promise is true. And as you trust, you will find evidence of this truth in your life. Doors of danger will close before you. Paths of safety will open. Situations that seem threatening will resolve in peace. You will look back and say, truly, the Lord has delivered me. Beloved, remember always that the presence of God is the only true protection. Locks may fail. Walls may crumble. Human strength may falter, but the shield of divine presence cannot be broken. When you make God your refuge, you are beyond the reach of unseen snares. When you clothe yourself in His presence, pestilence cannot touch you. When you anchor your mind in His truth, fear loses its hold upon you. So let your heart rest in this assurance. Surely He shall deliver me. Repeat it often, not as a hope, but as a certainty. For the word surely leaves no doubt. It is not maybe, not sometimes, not if you are lucky. It is surely. God's promise is absolute, unfailing, eternal. It is as sure as the rising of the sun, as certain as the law of gravity, as dependable as the beating of your own heart. Trust it, affirm it, live in it, and you will discover that you are indeed delivered from every snare and shielded from every pestilence. Walk today in this awareness, beloved. Go forth not with anxiety, but with confidence. Not with fear, but with faith. Know that unseen dangers cannot harm you, for unseen protection is greater still. Know that hidden snares cannot trap you, for divine wisdom guides your steps. Know that pestilence cannot touch you, for divine life fills every cell of your being, and in this knowledge you will live each day clothed in the invincible armor of God's promise, free, fearless, and at peace. Beloved, the psalmist in his holy vision assures you, He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. These are words of infinite tenderness and unfailing strength. They reveal to you the nature of divine protection, not a cold, mechanical defense, but a living, loving presence that surrounds you with warmth, comfort, and security. It is as though the infinite Father, Mother God bends low and gathers you under His wings, shielding you from every storm, protecting you from every danger, covering you with the canopy of divine love. The imagery is tender as a mother bird, protecting her young, yet the power behind it is invincible, for it is none other than the everlasting truth of God. This covering of feathers is symbolic of the closeness of divine love. It is not distant, abstract, or remote. It is near, intimate, and personal, just as a mother bird covers her little ones with her wings so that no predator can touch them. So too, the infinite covers you with His presence. This is not a poetic fancy. It is a spiritual law. When you dwell in the secret place of the Most High, you are enfolded in divine love. Nothing can penetrate this covering except that which is good and harmonious. The feathers of God's wings represent safety, gentleness, and the warmth of His care. When you rest under His wings, fear has no place, for you are aware that you are never alone, never exposed, never vulnerable. Beloved, this verse also tells you that His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Truth here means the eternal principles of divine law, the changeless reality of God's being. Human opinions shift, appearances change, circumstances fluctuate, but truth is unalterable, steadfast, eternal. Truth is that which was true yesterday, is true today, and shall remain true forever. The truth of God is that you are His beloved, that you are protected, that you are provided for, that you are guided and guarded in all your ways. This truth is your shield against fear, your buckler against temptation, your armor against false suggestions. When you hold to the truth, you cannot be shaken, for truth is the rock beneath your feet, the wall about your soul, the invincible shield that deflects every dart of fear or doubt. Consider, beloved, what a shield does. It intercepts the arrows that are aimed at you. It absorbs the blows so that it does not reach you. The shield of truth works in the same way. When fear seeks to invade your mind, truth rises up and says, "Fear not, for God is with me." When doubt whispers that you are alone, truth answers, "Lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world." When temptation suggests that you are weak, truth declares, "The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?" Thus, every arrow of fear, doubt, or weakness falls harmlessly to the ground, for truth is your shield. And what is a buckler? It is a small shield carried close to the body, used for swift defense in close combat. This teaches you that God's truth is not only a general protection, but also the specific, immediate defense in the moment of trial. It is close at hand, ready to be applied in any situation. Whenever you are confronted with fear, sickness, or difficulty, you can call upon the truth of God instantly, and it will shield you in that very moment. The truth of God is not something you wait for in the future. It is present, practical, and powerful right now. It is your buckler in the present moment, your immediate defense against every falsehood that seeks to disturb your peace. Beloved, when you meditate upon this imagery of God covering you with his wings, you will begin to feel a deep sense of inner security. You may even picture yourself as a little child resting beneath the great soft feathers of divine love, hidden from harm, enveloped in warmth. This imagery is not mere imagination. It is a channel through which divine protection is realized in your subconscious mind. The mind works with symbols, and when you picture yourself under God's wings, your subconscious accepts this as a living reality and begins to outpicture it in your life. You will find that dangers pass you by, that you are kept safe in situations where others falter, that peace surrounds you in the midst of turmoil. Such is the power of divine imagery impressed upon the deeper levels of mind. Do not think of this promise as applying only to others or only to saints of old. It is for you, here and now. God covers you with his feathers, this very moment. His wings are spread over your life right now. His truth is your shield today, in this hour, in this very breath. Let this awareness saturate your consciousness. Affirm quietly within yourself, I rest under the wings of the Almighty. His love covers me. His truth shields me. I am safe. I am secure. I am free. Repeat this often, until it becomes the natural atmosphere of your thought. When this consciousness takes root, fear will vanish, like mist before the sun, for you will know that you are enfolded in the invincible love of God. Some people imagine that they must struggle to maintain protection, that they must fight off dangers with their own strength. But the psalmist tells you otherwise. Protection is not your work. It is God's. Your work is to trust, to rest, to abide under his wings. Just as the little bird does not create its own protection, but simply stays under the mother's wing, so too you are called not to struggle, but to rest in faith. The shield is already provided, the covering already extended. Your part is to remain in the consciousness of God's presence, and in that awareness you will find perfect peace. Beloved, remember also that the shield of truth protects not only your body, but also your mind and soul. Many today are more wounded by thoughts than by weapons, more troubled by fears than by foes. Negative thoughts, destructive suggestions, false beliefs. These are the arrows that pierce the soul, but the truth of God's word, when affirmed and believed, turns aside these arrows and renders them powerless. You are not weak. You are strong in the Lord. You are not vulnerable. You are protected by divine love. You are not at the mercy of chance. You are governed by divine law. Every affirmation of truth builds up your shield stronger and stronger, until no negative force can break through. So, beloved, walk in this assurance. You are covered by the feathers of divine love. You are sheltered under the wings of infinite spirit. His truth is your shield and your buckler. No danger can penetrate this shield. No fear can withstand this truth. No evil can break through this covering of love. Live in this consciousness daily. Begin your mornings with the affirmation, I dwell under the wings of God. I am covered by his love. I am shielded by his truth. Carry this awareness with you throughout the day, and you will find that your steps are safe, your path is clear, and your heart is at peace. Rest, therefore, in this invincible promise. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. The wings of the Almighty are spread over you, his shield surrounds you, his truth defends you. You are forever safe in his care, forever strong in his truth, forever wrapped in the feathers of his love. Trust it, affirm it, believe it, and you shall live in the peace and protection of the Most High, now and forevermore. Beloved, the inspired psalmist declares, Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day. Here is a revelation of the truth that you are not to live in fear of the unseen darkness, nor the visible dangers that move openly in the light of day. God's promise is that his protecting presence shields you both in the silence of the night and in the activities of the day. There is no hour, no circumstance, no condition in which his love is absent. His invincible presence is the same yesterday, today, and forever. When you know this truth, when you fill your subconscious mind with this eternal assurance, fear dissolves like shadows before the morning sun. The terror by night represents the fears of the unknown, the anxieties that creep in when the world is silent and you are left alone with your thoughts. Many are troubled by shadows of the mind, by memories of the past, by anxious projections of the future, by worries that come uninvited. But the psalmist reminds you that under the wings of the Almighty, you need not fear. Night in all its darkness is as light unto God, for his presence fills all space. The infinite intelligence that guides the stars in their courses watches over you as you rest. The same wisdom that governs the universe governs your subconscious mind as you sleep. You are never abandoned, never left unguarded. As you lay down in peace, affirm, God is with me in the night. His presence is my light. I am safe, I am secure, I am at rest. This truth impresses your subconscious and brings you deep healing sleep, free from terror, free from anxiety. And what is the arrow that flies by day? It symbolizes the open attacks of life, the challenges, criticisms, and negative suggestions that come to you in the full glare of daily activity. These arrows may take the form of harsh words, hostile attitudes, unexpected obstacles, or difficulties that arise in your affairs. But you are told not to be afraid of them. Why? Because truth is your shield and buckler. The arrow may be launched, but it cannot harm you when you are covered by the presence of God. Just as a shield intercepts and deflects arrows, so your consciousness of divine protection turns aside the darts of negativity and renders them harmless. Beloved, it is important to realize that fear itself is the only thing that gives power to the arrow. If you accept fear into your mind, you allow the arrow to wound you. But when you stand in faith, when you rest in the assurance of God's promise, the arrow passes by without effect. It falls powerless to the ground. In truth, nothing can hurt you unless you consent to it in thought. The great secret is to refuse to consent to fear. Say to yourself, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Hold this affirmation steadily, and you will find that even in the presence of outward danger, you remain calm, serene, and victorious. Consider, beloved, how many live in fear of the night, anxious about what may happen in the hours of darkness. Others live in fear of the day, troubled by what may confront them in the business of life. But the man or woman of faith lives free from both. He rests at night in perfect peace, knowing that the everlasting arms are beneath him. He rises in the morning with confidence, knowing that divine wisdom goes before him to prepare his way. His subconscious is free from terror. His conscious mind is free from anxiety. This is the life of trust, the life of peace, the life that knows the reality of God's protection. Beloved, let us dwell for a moment on the nature of fear. Fear is nothing but a thought in the mind. It has no substance, no power, except what you grant it. It is like a shadow. It appears real, but it has no reality of its own. Light a lamp, and the shadow vanishes. In the same way, bring the light of truth into your mind, and fear disappears. When you realize that the presence of God fills the night and the day alike, fear has no foothold. Affirm often, God is my light in the night. God is my shield in the day. I live in his presence, and I am not afraid. These affirmations, repeated with conviction, impress your subconscious and build within you a deep and abiding sense of security. You are to remember that God's universe is friendly, not hostile. Infinite intelligence is working for your good, not against you. Even apparent difficulties and challenges are opportunities in disguise, stepping stones to greater strength and wisdom. The arrows that come by day are turned into blessings when met with faith. What appears as terror in the night becomes an occasion for greater trust. Everything that happens can be transmuted by your consciousness of truth. For the man or woman who lives under the shadow of the Almighty, all things work together for good. Beloved, imagine yourself as walking through life surrounded by an invisible sphere of light. This light is the presence of God. By day it shines brightly, turning aside every arrow. By night it glows gently, dispelling every shadow. Within this light you are safe, serene, and at peace. You need not worry about what others may do or what dangers may arise, for the light of God is your constant protection. This is not imagination, but truth. The presence of God is real, and when you affirm it, when you believe it, when you live in it, it manifests as actual protection in your life. Some may ask, well, what about the dangers I see in the world? What about the violence, the accidents, the diseases? The answer, beloved, is that the truth of God's presence is greater all appearances. Do not deny the appearances, but affirm the greater reality. Say within yourself, yes, these things exist in the world of appearances, but I live in the higher law of divine protection. God is my refuge and my fortress. Therefore, I shall not fear the terror by night, nor the arrow by day. The power of your faith lifts you above the level of fear and establishes you in safety. Beloved, practice this truth each day. When night falls, instead of yielding to anxious thoughts, close your eyes and say, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? I rest in his presence, and I sleep in peace." When the day dawns and you go forth to your work, affirm, "The Lord goes before me this day. His shield is about me. No arrow can harm me, for his truth is my protection." In this way, you will move through life with confidence, without dread of the unknown, without anxiety about the visible. You will be calm in the night and courageous in the day. The truth is that fear is not your master. Faith is your master. Fear is not your inheritance. Peace is your inheritance. Fear is not your destiny. Love, safety, and security are your destiny. You are the beloved of God, and nothing can separate you from his protection. Therefore, walk in peace, sleep in peace, work in peace, live in peace. For the Lord is your refuge. His wings cover you, his shield protects you, his truth defends you. So let this be your song. I will not fear the terror by night, nor the arrow that flieth by day. For the Lord is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in him will I trust. Repeat it often, believe it deeply, and live it fully. Then you will discover that fear has no power over you, that dangers lose their sting, that life becomes a pathway of peace. For you are clothed in the invincible armor of God's presence, safe in the night, secure in the day, now and forevermore. Beloved, the psalmist continues this divine revelation and says, "Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday." Here you are given a promise of infinite breadth and depth, that no hidden plague, no unseen danger, no visible calamity has power to harm you when you live in the secret place of the Most High. The Holy Spirit, speaking through these words, reveals to you that whether the danger is concealed in the night or blazing in the open light of day, the truth of God's presence remains your safeguard and your shield. When you understand this, you rise above the bondage of fear, and you walk through life clothed in the invincible armor of divine love. The pestilence that walks in darkness symbolizes those dangers which move unseen, those subtle influences that creep silently and strike without warning. It represents the hidden things that human eyes cannot detect, the threats that seem to come out of nowhere, the fears that gnaw at the subconscious mind. Many live anxious about what they cannot see, hidden diseases, unknown dangers, invisible forces. But the psalmist declares that you need not fear such things, for the light of God surrounds you, and his Spirit penetrates even the darkness. What is invisible to the human eye is visible to the infinite intelligence. Nothing is hidden from the Spirit that created the universe. You are therefore never left exposed or unguarded, for the all-seeing eye of God watches over you, even when you sleep, even when you walk unknowing through the paths of light. Beloved, think for a moment of the sunlight that pours into a room. It reveals every corner, disperses every shadow, and illuminates even the smallest detail. The presence of God is like that, only infinitely greater. His light penetrates the hidden places, banishes the shadows, and reveals every snare. Pestilence may walk in darkness, but it cannot dwell where the light of God shines. And where does this light shine? Within you, beloved. The light of God is your inner awareness of his presence. The more you affirm, "God is my light and my salvation," the more you flood your subconscious mind with his radiance, and the less the shadows of fear can disturb you. Pestilence cannot walk in the presence of such light. Now consider the other phrase, "nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday." Here the psalmist refers to dangers that are not hidden, but plain, glaring, visible to all. It may be calamity, disaster, or trouble that appears to consume everything in its path. The midday sun symbolizes the full light of human awareness, when dangers are not imagined but seen, when problems are not hidden but open before you. Yet even then, you are told not to fear. Why? Because the protection of God is as effective in the open blaze of difficulty as in the unseen shadows of the night. The power of God is not limited by appearances. His truth does not fail, because the challenge looks great. He is the same in the darkness and in the daylight, in the hidden danger and in the open crisis. Beloved, how many people live in constant anxiety about sickness, accident, or disaster? They scan the news and fill their minds with images of calamity. They magnify the pestilence in their imagination and allow the fear of destruction to corrode their peace. But the psalmist says, "Thou shalt not be afraid." Fear is not your portion. Peace is your portion. Fear is not your inheritance. Faith is your inheritance. Pestilence and destruction may exist in the world of appearances, but they do not exist in the higher realm of divine truth, where you truly dwell. Remember that you are not merely a creature of flesh and blood, subject to chance and circumstance. You are a spiritual being, an eternal expression of God's life. In Him you live and move and have your being. Nothing can touch you unless it first passes through the shield of divine presence, and nothing destructive can pass through that shield. Let us reflect more deeply on this. Pestilence and destruction are forms of fear in the human mind. The subconscious mind, when filled with images of disease or disaster, tends to outpicture those very conditions. This is why the world seems filled with calamities. They are the collective outpicturing of the fears of humanity. But you are not bound by collective fear. You can choose to live in the consciousness of God's presence, to fill your mind with His promises, to impress your subconscious with the truth of Psalm 91. When you do this, you rise above the level of fear and live in the higher vibration of faith. Pestilence and destruction lose their power over you because you no longer consent to them in thought. The shield of truth within you deflects them, and the wings of love cover you. Beloved, imagine yourself walking through a crowded place. Around you, people may be anxious, fearful, or even sick, but within you there is a radiant sphere of light, a circle of divine fire. This is the presence of God. It surrounds you like an invincible armor. No pestilence can penetrate it. No destruction can enter it. You move in peace, untouched by the fears of the crowd. This is not imagination, it is truth. For when you affirm the presence of God, when you believe in His protection, you magnetize your subconscious with the power of divine life, and it manifests as actual protection in your experience. Do not say, "But what if something happens? What if I am exposed? What if destruction comes?" Beloved, dismiss such thoughts at once. They are the pestilence of the mind, walking in the darkness of imagination. Replace them with truth. Say, "Nothing can harm me, for God is with me. No pestilence can touch me, for His Spirit fills me. No destruction can waste me, for His life sustains me." Repeat these affirmations often, and your subconscious will accept them as fact. Then you will find that you walk unafraid, sleep in peace, and move through life with quiet confidence. The great truth is this: appearances cannot dictate your experience when your mind is filled with faith. Pestilence may walk in darkness, destruction may waste at noonday, but you are not afraid, for you know that greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world. You know that the eternal law of God is harmony, life, and peace, and that nothing contrary to this law can endure in your presence. You know that fear is but a shadow, while truth is the eternal reality. And in this knowing, you are safe. Beloved, let your life be a demonstration of this promise. Each morning, before you enter the world of activity, affirm, "I am surrounded by the light of God. I am covered by His wings. No pestilence can touch me. No destruction can harm me. I live in His presence, and I am safe." Let these words saturate your subconscious. Carry them with you through the day, and when night comes, repeat them again, and sleep in peace. In this way, you will build a subconscious fortress of faith, an inner citadel that no fear can penetrate. So walk boldly, beloved. Fear not the hidden shadows of the night, nor the glaring dangers of the day. Fear not the pestilence that walks in darkness, nor the destruction that wastes at noonday. For the Lord is your refuge. His truth is your shield, His love your covering. Rest in this, trust in this, live in this, and you shall find that pestilence and destruction pass you by, leaving you untouched, unharmed, and at peace. You are the beloved of God, forever safe in His invincible care. Beloved, The psalmist, in his profound vision of divine security, continues with the assurance, 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. These are words of infinite comfort, of supreme assurance. They tell you that though calamity may rage around you, though multitudes may be swept away by fear, failure, or disease, you remain untouched, preserved, and protected in the secret place of the Most High. It is the declaration that you are not subject to the mass fears of humanity, that you are not carried along by the tide of collective belief, but that you are anchored in divine truth, and therefore you stand unmoved in the midst of apparent destruction. This passage unveils to you a law of consciousness. You are not bound by the experiences of the crowd. The truth is, what happens around you does not dictate what happens within you. What happens to others does not necessarily happen to you. You live not in the shifting sands of mass thought, but in the eternal rock of ages, if you choose to abide there. When others yield to fear, you can remain serene in faith. When thousands around you are overcome by destructive conditions, you can stand as an oasis of peace, safety, and health, because you have chosen to dwell under the shadow of the Almighty. Beloved, understand that the subconscious mind is highly impressionable, and most people unconsciously absorb the collective fears of the world. They listen to the news, they talk of calamities, they dwell on epidemics, they magnify disasters, and soon their subconscious is filled with images of destruction. Then life outpictures those fears. But you are given the key to rise above this mass hypnosis. You are told it shall not come nigh thee. How? By dwelling in the truth of God's protection, by filling your subconscious not with images of fear, but with affirmations of divine safety. This verse does not deny that calamities exist in the world of appearances. It acknowledges them. Thousands may indeed fall. Yet the promise is that you are exempt, you are preserved, you are untouched. This is the higher law of divine immunity. Just as a man in a submarine can remain unharmed in the depths of the sea, protected by the law of pressure within the vessel, so you can remain unharmed in the midst of destruction, protected by the law of divine presence within your mind. The conditions of the world cannot touch you when you abide in this inner fortress of faith. Beloved, imagine yourself standing in the midst of a great storm. Around you trees may fall, winds may rage, and waters may rise. Yet within you there is a calm, a still center, a deep certainty that nothing can harm you, for God is your refuge. The storm may rage without, but within there is perfect peace. This is the truth of the psalmist's promise. The storm of collective fear may sweep thousands away, but you, anchored in truth, remain unmoved, serene, and safe. It is vital that you impress this truth upon your subconscious mind. The subconscious governs the body, influences circumstances, and attracts experiences. When it is filled with fear, it draws to you the very conditions you dread. But when it is filled with faith, it repels fear, attracts harmony, and outpictures protection. Therefore, beloved, meditate often on these words. 1,000 shall fall at my side, and 10,000 at my right hand, but it shall not come nigh me. Repeat them quietly, with deep feeling, until they sink into the depths of your subconscious. Let them become a living reality within you. Then you will discover that while others may yield to the pestilence of fear, you remain immune, shielded by the invincible armor of divine love. Remember also that the falling of thousands is symbolic of the collapse of negative thoughts and destructive conditions. As you live in the truth, as you affirm God's presence, the false beliefs in your subconscious mind begin to fall away. They collapse one by one until none remain. These fallen thousands represent the fears, doubts, and false suggestions that no longer dominate your mind. They fall at your side, they crumble at your right hand, but they do not touch your true self, which abides in divine safety. Thus, the verse also describes the victory of truth over error within you. Beloved, let us consider an example. Suppose an epidemic is spreading in the land. The news magnifies it, people talk of it. Fear grows like a pestilence in the air. Thousands yield to it, 10,000s are affected. But you, dwelling in God, affirming His presence, living in the light of Psalm 91, say within yourself, it shall not come nigh me. God is the health of my countenance. The life of God flows through me, cleansing, healing, protecting. I am immune to fear and immune to disease, for I live in God. As you affirm this truth with conviction, it penetrates your subconscious, and your body responds with health. Your circumstances respond with safety. Your environment responds with harmony. While others may be swept away by the contagion of fear, you remain preserved by the power of faith. In every age, beloved, there have been those who stood immune in the midst of calamity. When cities were plagued, there were those who remained untouched. When wars raged, there were those preserved. When disaster struck, there were those who walked unharmed. What was their secret? It was not chance, not luck, but consciousness. They lived in the awareness of divine presence, and that awareness clothed them in invincible protection. You too can live in that awareness, for the same God who preserved them preserves you. The promise is eternal. It shall not come nigh thee. Beloved, you must train your mind to see yourself as untouchable by fear, untouched by calamity, immune to destruction. See yourself surrounded by a radiant sphere of divine light. See thousands of arrows of fear falling away harmlessly at your side, 10,000 destructive suggestions collapsing at your right hand, yet none touching you. See yourself walking through life serenely, calm in the midst of storm, secure in the midst of danger. This mental image, impressed deeply upon the subconscious, will manifest as actual protection in your daily experience. Do not consent to the hypnotism of mass fear. Refuse to be swept along by the tide of collective belief. Anchor yourself in the truth. Say often, I am not subject to mass thought. I am governed only by divine law. 1,000 may fall at my side, and 10,000 at my right hand, but it shall not come nigh me. God is my refuge, and in him I am safe. Repeat this until it becomes a deep conviction. Then, no matter what happens around you, you will remain serene, calm, and victorious. The truth is this: you are not vulnerable. You are not helpless. You are not a reed blown by the wind of chance. You are the beloved of God, clothed in his invincible armor, girded by his eternal promise. Let others fall if they must. Let the world tremble if it will. But you stand firm in the secret place of the Most High. You live in the light of divine truth, and in that light no darkness can approach you. So walk today, beloved, with this confidence. Fear not what happens around you. Fear not the calamities that sweep the multitudes. Fear not the collapse of false beliefs, for you are safe in the everlasting arms. You are guarded by the eternal law of harmony. You are preserved by the power of divine love. Truly, thousands may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near you. Rest in this, trust in this, live in this, and you shall find yourself untouched, unharmed, and forever secure in the invincible presence of God. Beloved, when the psalmist declares the covenant of God's deliverance, he speaks not from theory, but from the deep realization of divine law. Because he hath set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. This is no empty promise, no distant dream. It is the eternal truth of your being. It is a covenant written not on parchment, but upon the tablets of your heart. It is the unbreakable bond between Creator and creation, between Father and child, between infinite spirit and the soul of man. God's promise is sure. His word is law. His covenant is eternal. He declares, I will deliver him, I will answer him, I will honor him, I will satisfy him with long life, and I will show him my salvation. Take these words into your mind, and let them soak deeply into the depths of your subconscious. When God says, I will deliver him, it means you are never without help, never abandoned, never left to struggle alone. Deliverance is not only from physical danger, it is deliverance from fear, from sorrow, from bondage, from destructive habits, from limitation, from every shadow that seeks to obscure the light of God within you. Whenever you turn in faith, you invoke this covenant, and the Spirit rushes to your aid. Just as the mother rushes to her crying child, so the infinite presence responds to the call of your heart. Beloved, notice the condition, because he hath set his love upon me. To set your love upon God is to give your attention to him, to recognize the presence within you, to make him the center of your life. When you love God, you love truth, peace, joy, harmony, and goodness. You withdraw attention from fear and negativity, and you fasten your mind upon the reality of divine love and wisdom. In this state of devotion, you become receptive to the flow of infinite good, and the promise of deliverance becomes your daily experience. To know God's name is to know his nature. His name is life, love, power, presence, peace, joy. His name is I am, that which is eternal, changeless, infinite. When you call upon this name, when you affirm, God is my life, God is my strength, God is my shield, you are invoking his presence into manifestation in your life. You are lifting your consciousness to the place of divine realization. This is what it means to be set on high, to be lifted above the plane of fear and limitation into the mountaintop of faith and truth. Beloved, God says he shall call upon me, and I will answer him. This is the greatest assurance you could ever receive. Your prayer is never lost. Your call is never ignored. Every thought of faith, every aspiration toward truth, every silent reaching of your soul is answered by the infinite in ways that transcend your understanding. You may not always see the answer immediately, but rest assured the answer is there, silently moving into form, silently guiding your steps, silently arranging circumstances for your highest good. Call upon him in faith, and the response is as certain as the rising of the sun. The covenant continues. I will be with him in trouble. Notice, beloved, it does not say you will never face difficulties. Trouble may come, challenges may appear, storms may rage. But the promise is this: you are never alone in the midst of them. The presence of God is with you, guiding you, strengthening you, comforting you. Just as a child feels safe when holding the hand of a loving father, so you can walk through any valley, any shadow, with calm assurance. For the everlasting arms uphold you. The trouble cannot overwhelm you, for the infinite is greater than any problem. The storm cannot last forever. The light of God always shines through. I will deliver him and honor him. Beloved, the infinite presence not only delivers you, but also crowns you with honor. To honor you is to elevate your consciousness, to restore your dignity, to reveal your true worth as a son or daughter of the Most High. Many people walk with a sense of unworthiness, of guilt, of inferiority. But God says, I will honor him. He clothes you with garments of righteousness. He crowns you with loving kindness and tender mercies. He reminds you of your divine inheritance. To be honored by God is to live with a sense of inner worth, knowing that you are precious, beloved, and eternally valued. I will satisfy him with long life and show him my salvation. Beloved, here is the fullness of the promise. Long life does not mean merely adding years to your existence. It means a life filled with vitality, with peace, with fulfillment, with divine purpose. To be satisfied with long life is to live each day in joy, to wake in the morning with thanksgiving, to walk through life with a song of praise in your heart, to know that your days are rich with meaning. Life is not measured in length alone, but in depth, in quality, in the richness of your consciousness of God. And finally, he says, I will show him my salvation. Salvation is wholeness, harmony, peace. Salvation is freedom from fear, deliverance from bondage, the realization of eternal life. Salvation is not something far off and a future world. It is here now, whenever you awaken to the truth of God's presence within you. To see his salvation is to experience divine health in your body, divine harmony in your affairs, divine peace in your mind. Salvation is the full expression of God's goodness in every area of your life. Beloved, make this covenant your own. Each morning, as you awaken, say quietly to yourself, God delivers me from all evil, for I have set my love upon him. He sets me on high because I know his name. I call upon him, and he answers me. He is with me in every situation, guiding and strengthening me. He honors me and satisfies me with long life. He shows me his salvation in all that I do. Repeat this until it becomes the rhythm of your soul. Let it sink into your subconscious, until you know beyond all doubt that this covenant is yours now, this day, forevermore. Walk in this assurance, beloved. Whatever challenge may arise, declare within, God delivers me now. Whatever fear may whisper, answer it. I know his name, and I am set on high. Whatever trouble may loom, affirm, God is with me in this, and he will deliver me. Whatever sense of unworthiness may creep in, remember, God honors me. I am beloved. I am precious in his sight. And when you think of your future, rest in the certainty he satisfies me with long life and shows me his salvation. This is not mere poetry. It is the law of life. It is the eternal promise of the infinite to the soul that turns to him in faith. Make it yours, beloved. Live in it, breathe it, affirm it, and you will see it outpictured in your health, in your peace, in your protection, in your prosperity. For God cannot lie. His word is truth. His covenant stands forever. And so you may walk each day, clothed in the invincible armor of this divine promise, secure in the knowledge that he delivers, he answers, he honors, he satisfies, he saves. Truly, beloved, this is God's covenant of deliverance for you today and forevermore. Beloved, when you awaken in the morning, remember that this day is God's day, and it has been given to you as a gift. The Eternal now invites you to walk in confidence, clothed in his invincible armor, radiating his peace and his power. The psalmist declares that those who abide under the shadow of the Almighty walk in safety, in calm assurance, in the certainty of divine protection. You are called to live each moment of this day, not in fear, not in doubt, not in anxiety, but in a deep abiding confidence that the everlasting arms surround you and uphold you. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are not at the mercy of appearance. You are the beloved of God, and his promise is your shield. Living today in peace and confidence means you begin by anchoring your thought in the reality of God's presence within you. Before the world speaks, before fear or confusion intrudes, still your mind and affirm quietly, this day God walks with me. His love guides me. His wisdom directs me. His power strengthens me. I am clothed in his light, shielded by his armor, upheld by his everlasting arms. As you repeat these truths, they sink into your subconscious and shape the entire day. The mind that begins in peace carries that peace into every meeting, every decision, every circumstance. Beloved, confidence is not arrogance, it is trust. It is the serene certainty that the infinite presence within you is greater than any obstacle before you. It is not self-confidence in the limited ego. It is God-confidence in the limitless spirit. When you know that God is your refuge, your fortress, your strong tower, you walk with quiet assurance. You are not disturbed by the storms of life, because you know there is a place of calm within you that nothing can shake. This is the peace that passeth all understanding. It is not dependent on outer conditions. It flows from the recognition of God's presence here and now. Think of the sun, beloved. Clouds may gather, storms may rage, darkness may seem to cover the earth. Yet behind the clouds, the sun still shines. In the same way, behind the passing conditions of your life, the eternal light of God shines steadily within you. When you focus on this inner light, you walk in peace, even while the storm rages. You walk in confidence, even when appearances seem threatening. You know that no weapon formed against you shall prosper, for the infinite presence goes before you and prepares the way. To live this day in peace and confidence, withdraw your attention from fear-filled suggestions. The world may shout of calamity, people may speak of loss, but you do not need to join in the chorus of fear. Instead, quietly affirm the truth. God is my protector. God is my provider. God is my peace. The moment you turn your attention inward to the source of all strength, the noise of the outer world loses its power over you. Fear cannot disturb the mind that is anchored in truth. Beloved, see yourself moving through this day with serenity. Imagine that you are clothed in a garment of radiant light. This light is the armor of God, and it repels every negative thought, every destructive suggestion, every appearance of harm. Nothing can penetrate this armor, for it is woven from the substance of divine love. As you walk in this light, you feel safe, secure, and serene. The words of the psalmist are fulfilled in you. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. You are sheltered in the secret place of the Most High, and therefore you walk in peace. Confidence also means expectancy. You expect good because you know that God is good. You expect harmony because you know that harmony is the law of life. You expect guidance because you know that infinite wisdom is within you. This expectancy shapes your day. Instead of anticipating trouble, you anticipate blessings. Instead of looking for problems, you look for opportunities. Instead of waiting for fear to strike, you wait upon the Lord and renew your strength. This attitude of expectancy draws to you the very good you anticipate, for the subconscious always outpictures the dominant idea held in mind. Beloved, many people live as though they are surrounded by enemies. They expect danger, and so they attract it. They anticipate failure, and so they experience it. But you are called to live differently. You are called to live with the serene confidence that you are surrounded, not by enemies, but by angels, not by threats, but by opportunities, not by danger, but by divine love. The psalmist says, "He shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways." Imagine, therefore, that as you walk today, you are accompanied by heavenly messengers, invisible helpers, guiding your steps, arranging circumstances, keeping you safe. This image, impressed on your subconscious, will bring about experiences of safety and guidance in your daily affairs. To live in peace and confidence is to release the past and trust the future. Yesterday is gone. It has no power except what you give it in memory. Tomorrow is unborn. It will be shaped by the thoughts you hold today. Therefore, dwell in the present moment and make it a temple of peace. Say to yourself often, "This is God's day. I rejoice in it. I live in peace. I walk in confidence. All is well." These simple affirmations, spoken with faith, will transform your inner state and reflect in your outer world. Beloved, let your confidence be gentle, yet unshakable. Walk softly, knowing the infinite walks with you. Speak kindly, knowing the infinite speaks through you. Act with calm assurance, knowing the infinite works through you. This is true confidence, not boastful, not proud, but serene, radiant, unafraid. When you know that the power of the Almighty indwells you, there is no need for struggle, no need for striving. You rest in His promise, and that rest brings peace. At night, when you lay your head upon the pillow, review the day with gratitude. Thank God for His protection, for His guidance, for His peace. Say within yourself, "This day I have walked in the light. This day I have been upheld by the everlasting arms. This day I have been clothed in the invincible armor of God." As you drift into sleep with such thoughts, your subconscious continues to outpicture them, and you awaken again in the morning, ready to live another day in peace and confidence. So, beloved, remember this. Peace is not something you wait for, it is something you choose. Confidence is not something given to a few, it is the natural fruit of faith. Today, choose peace. Today, choose confidence. Today, choose to live in the awareness of God's presence. Let your heart rest in His promise. Let your mind dwell in His truth. Let your steps be guided by His light. And you will find, as the psalmist promised, that no evil shall befall you, no plague shall come near your dwelling, for you are sheltered in the secret place of the Most High. Truly, beloved, this is the life of peace. This is the walk of confidence. This is the day the Lord has made. Rejoice and be glad in it.